News from the Tubes and F5 Live is proudly powered by Malwarebytes. Whether you use a PC, a Mac, or a mobile device, Malwarebytes Premium is the company's strongest protection ever. It fights threats that traditional antivirus software can't stop, and it actively blocks threats like worms, rogues, dialers, trojans, and a whole lot more. It allows you to use your computer and mobile devices with confidence and peace of mind. To learn more and to get a special price right now, you can go to f5live.tv/malwarebytes. All right, a little bit of an update on a story we've been keeping our eye on. It's the Federal Trade Commission's antitrust suit against Facebook/Meta. When the initial suit was filed, the company was called Facebook, and obviously it's changed names since then. So the filing is a little interesting, back and forth. This week, a U.S. district judge has ironically dismissed Facebook's request for dismissal of the case. They have said that the FTC has pitched enough evidence in its filing that the case is at least valid and should be heard. This is the second time that this case has been put forth in this court in front of this judge. The first time the motion to dismiss was granted, but the judge suggested that the FTC, to use an old colloquialism, sharpen its pencil. He basically said that the way it was filed was poor. It did not provide enough information, but that they certainly had enough background information to suggest that they were right. So that's where we are now. Facebook also tried to argue that because the one of the members of the Federal Trade Commission, whose name has escaped my mind, the chair, Lena Khan, had been involved in cases with the company in her prosecuting days, that she should be recused, and the judge said, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. So it looks like this case is going to go forward. Their big argument is something that we've talked about on this show for like a decade now. In particular, it was the purchase of Instagram that raised their ears. They made the purchase during what was supposed to be their quiet period before their IPO. The SEC requests that companies kind of calm themselves before an IPO so that investors know what it is that they're buying into. And Facebook went and spent over $1 billion to buy Instagram. There had been talk at the time that it was over fear that Twitter might be interested in them. But Zuckerberg himself said later that that the company had feared that Instagram was going to implement features that was going to damage Facebook's position in the market, and that WhatsApp was the next thing that they were afraid of. So he kind of admitted that they were doing a buy and bury kind of a scheme, which is exactly what this case is about. So it's going to be interesting.
Did they bury them? They didn't really bury them. They're still.
But they've brought a lot of the features both into Facebook and started integrating stuff behind the scenes, right? Like Facebook and Instagram from the business manager. I can post to both of them with a single post, not share content between them like you used to be able to do with Instagram. You know, you go in, you post your picture, and today also share it on Facebook. There is one UI to post to both for businesses. The chat between WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook are all unified behind the scenes now. There's been a lot of, like, we're sucking things into Facebook, which the chat stuff is when the FTC really decided that they needed to act. Now, the judge has been very clear about the fact that this isn't a done deal. The court's ready to hear the case. I'm not saying that Facebook has done anything wrong, just that enough information has been presented to hear the case. So we don't currently have a timeline on when the hearing will start, but it will be happening at this point unless some settlement is made behind the scenes, and I can all but guarantee neither the FTC nor Facebook are interested in making a settlement. So,
yeah, what could the outcome possibly be? I mean, can the government force Facebook to sell Instagram again, or sell WhatsApp?
I don't know. I don't know what outcome they're looking for. When it comes to an antitrust suit, all kinds of things can come of it. There was the attempt to split Microsoft up at one point, in the 90s or yeah. So that might be what they attempt here, is to force them to spin Instagram and or WhatsApp back off to their own things. I think that they will deal with now that they've been given permission to have the case heard. I think now they're going to try and decide what it is that they're looking for. They've been really tight-lipped on it, on what outcome they're hoping for. They might also have been waiting to hear what the judge's response was to gauge what they thought they might be able to ask for in damages. So, I don't know. It's definitely going to be an interesting thing to follow, because clearly these things take time, right? The Microsoft case went on seemingly for 100 years, and the Google Oracle case was 10 and a half years. So, big cases are not short-lived. We're just at the beginning of this, and we will definitely be keeping an eye on it as time goes on. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live, Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell, because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.